Debut North America. And they do it on the terrorist side. They are invading our homeland. Let's see if they can invade onto Shazam, who already finds the first. It's going to be ZQK that gets dropped. Fallen responds immediately, though, and they actually might catch Hades, who has to run desperately back to the site, although he gets cubbied into the corner with the CZ75.
Too scared to fall back any further because he would have exposed himself, and that was actually a three-man stack there, and Keystars just demolishes it brilliantly. They shut down that stack, and they have a man advantage, but Hades finds Fallen not looking, and he does manage to get the kill. Pushes up aggressive with only 15 HP. A ballsy play, but it works out.
He's still here. He's not done yet. So Fur's still searching for him. Rix is going to pop back out and try and bail his teammate out further. He does so. Fur drops, but Bolts does eventually get Hades, and now it's Steel. Gets the shot on Rix. Well played with the Glock. And this means Stanislaw has to hold this site alone because Glorens is yet to rotate around, and then he does the first one. Now it's down to just the one player remaining from Steel, who interestingly enough is sponsored individually by iBuyPower. So the second steal for iBuyPower, and he'll get Stanislaw, he'll get both! What a shot on Glorens, and Keystars, their first round of ESEA is going to go their way. Bomb plant goes down, he'll pick up the extra coin, and 1-0 for the Brazilians already.
Surgical with that Glock, just blows it up, and that was just a battle the whole way back from Bathrooms. A great stack initially gets shut down, but Hades with an aggressive play takes one out, and it was just a battle, that whole progression up to that ace site, and finally Steel. Just beautiful shots from him, and we do have a second round buy, as we so often see nowadays. Shazam with the Scout, and then we have upgraded pistols and armor.
So Hades again gets nuzzled into the Bathrooms. We'll see if he can hold them off again this time because they were using this this SMG meta. So Keystars are adapting that. They've already got 3 MP7s out, 1 UMP out for Steel, and only the 1 rifle. It is more of a close quarters map when you're going for the takes, but that 1 rifle will give them a bit more of an advantage to try and play for a pick if someone gets caught out of position. But they're rotating back. They actually look like they want to head toward B, and Bolt is going to just sit around to see if he can catch Hades, who pushes up and gets him behind them. So he'll play Lurk. Rix will have to go for the hold here. Stanislaw riding the wall. That's an interesting position. That's the second time we've seen someone do that this evening, as Glorens is also stacked up.
And a nice Molotov might push Stanislaw out of position, but he jumps forward. Another Molotov comes out. There's Bolts dropping Hades, but the hit comes in. Glorens has grabbed 2. He's playing around with these pillars. He's got to get found, and he does. There's Fur taking him down. It's just Shazam left with his Scout up top.
That was well played, actually, by Glorens to pick up those 2, because that first flashbang forced him out, which let them come in, but he still recovered from it. Regardless, Bomb's going to get out. Nice shot by Shazam. Scout already working. Now he knows he hasn't got away. Now the problem is because he's able to hit the shot. Double flash comes out. That actually allows for Steel to get away, but he still catches them. So this brings it back down to a 1-on-1. It's Scout with no kit versus the Galil, and Shazam's holding this, just holding the angle as well. He's got that basically pre-aimed, so he'll just jump off and try and get the shot, but he's not quick enough, and Bolts will win out the round. It comes down to a 1-on-1, so an expensive round, but again, it was SMGs that they bought, not full rifles.
Yeah, and they'll be able to get rifles or more SMGs if they'd like here, or even save with some pistols, just because they know that was a buy out of Tempo Storm. But you're right, very expensive round. And one thing I want to point out, that was the second round that Hades pushed up into those sewers in a row. First one on a pistol round, obviously, but from his time with Luminosity and Mythic last season, teams where he's defending the 8 bomb set on this map, they do like to get aggressive into the Bathrooms. It's a major point of contention for him. And a full-blown B hit out of Keystars is a perfect call because they're going to clean out Stanislaw very, very quickly. He's the only one there.
Push from Hades, so he continues the aggression with the pistols out in toward the lower tunnels. As Fur gets this bomb plant down, there'll be no one else around. Shazam's going to come back over from A, but at this point just play for the exits, try and get some guns down. Fallen does take down Hades. Rebuying the SMGs, they pretty much have to get kills with them in order to be able to upgrade and make it worth the investment. As ZQK just holds the angle on the window, and Shazam again waiting for anyone to carelessly come out toward him, and it looks like Bolts might take that invitation. Nope, never mind. Thinks better of it. And ZQK, he told you he was exiting B.
Shazam's in here too, and he takes offense to it. He's going to try and chase him down. They hear the footsteps, and he just gets massacred. Now it's Steel peeking over towards CT spawn, him and a teammate. Steel cleans them both up. Fallen chimes in with an assist, but a nice anti-eco there from Keystars. They're going to move forward into this 4th round feeling very, very good. Upgrade the SMGs. Full utility, 4 Molotovs in their arsenal to work with here.
But now guns come out. And Shazam will pull out the op right away. We've already seen him get the scout out, get 2 kills with it, scout out. I gotta stop saying those 2 words together, man. It just gives it away.
It sounds so Canadian. It really does.
What up, bro? You wanna go for a rip, do you, bud? This is an interesting spam spot that more and more people are using into the front side of basically where those sandbags are, but it really relies on aggression. And unfortunately, I think his timing was a little bit too quick that time. So as soon as they see that spam, there's no chance they're gonna walk into it.
Yeah, Shazam's got a glass cannon, and he took a couple shots at long. They flashed him back, but he's jumping over to get the information. He misses another shot. He's playing with fire here. He's been there far too long, and now he's just going to fall all the way back. Drop that smoke and look over at another angle, see if he can find one creeping up around bathroom area.
So Fallen heads back. Steel's the only one that's over scouting out at B. Smoke out frontside monster, smoke out sandbags, no real vision in for him, but they're all coming over regardless because they haven't found anything at A. So passive right now, Tempo Storm. And this is another one of those situations where if they smoke off A, they could still potentially get a bomb plant down. It's just a matter of limiting damage on the entry at that point.
Yeah, and Keith starts put aggression over at long. They cleared out the bathrooms, and now they rotate over. And this, you said it exactly. Tempo Storm's playing so passive, so they don't necessarily have the information. They do hear some footsteps and gunfire over towards B from Keedstar, so it has rotated a third player over. That's Rix, Glorens, and Stanislaw for the defense here.
Stanislaw does pick up the kill. Hades jumps back out. 3 in pit. Really stacked positions from the defense, and yet they still make it work, but Steel tears it apart. He finds 2, and now the bomb's finally going to get into position as ZQK places it down. 12 HP for him, and he can't really escape. There's no way out, although those smokes would have given him a bit of a chance, but they've dissolved, and Shazam now finds Steel. Tempo Storm may pick up this first gun round, and Stanislaw, there it is. He'll close out the final kill, though. Get this defused. No kit, but lots of time. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that was very scary, having three players of that B bomb site, and they all fell into the pit. That could have been very brutal. Steel, like you said, a double kill there, but you can't find that third one. So a solid defense where, I mean, they just won the initial battles. I think it was 3 Keedstars members went down before any kind of response. So the trade's not going in their favor, and then Shazam finally rotates over with that AWP, but that's going to prompt, you look at ZQK, picks up the AWP of his own, so a little bit of an op battle that we didn't see in the last match. It's going to present itself here.
Fur only has the decoy need to work with. So he's the only one that doesn't able to get out of smoke. They do have 4 smokes otherwise, so we'll see if they can try and use them. You only really need 3 on the A taken, and B potentially need 4 if you want to cover up Heaven as well, but Bolts has already found Shazam. So that op battle doesn't transpire. It's actually ZQK to take Glorens instead, so they take a 2-man advantage. That's pulled back just a little bit by Rix's kill onto Fallen. But look at ZQK holding the bathroom angle, finds Hades, and Rix is already down and out. It's all Stanislaw.
And that's
what a respawn.
That's such good coordination by those 2 players. The Opper just holding his back, holding the angle behind him, letting him do his work. He knows he's got a chance to pick off Rix, and now it's just Stanislaw, but coordination between those players to clean out bathrooms, and that's what I'm talking about when I say North Americans just haven't gotten used to cleaning out bathrooms that well. It's gone perfectly here for Keedstar. Stanislaw does take one down, but it's still a 1-on-3. He's forced into a situation where he's probably going to have to save.
And Stanislaw does actually have a chance to lurk in behind one player as he exits away and tries to save this gun, but I think, oh, he's already spotted. They actually spot him dropping down. Does he get the kill, at least on his Steel? He does. Now he has to run and hide. He can't get out of there in time. Bolt's is going to find him. And Keed, yet another round going their way, so they're up to 4. This is good. This is T-side start. They've only given up that first gun, but because of the management, they are able to buy out there, and they force the issue. Go right back into it as well. This is decent start.
Yeah, and look at it also. Fallen and Steel with SMGs, they know they've broken the economy, so they know it's going to be a save out of Tempo Storm, so instead of just buying up the AKs, more money management, more money they can win off kills, and less of a punishment if they fall, so Keedstar's playing very, very intelligently.
Fallen checks every angle, catches Stanislaw waiting on the sandbags, and now it's down around the corner for Bolts. They're both lined up. Again, they stack up this pit position just to try and get the close quarters when they enter onto the site, but they won't get that. Flawless round from Keedstars on the anti-eco, and now Tempo Storm really need to get back into this quickly.
Yeah,
economy's starting to build against them.
They absolutely do, especially with those SMGs. It doesn't even look like Fallen does upgrade. Steel keeps his ump, though, has that armor penetration, so... And once again, 4 Molotovs for him, so they have a plan of how they want to use these Molotovs to clear out spots, to clear out positions, to to eliminate places they have to check when the hit comes in. Keedstar's playing this very, very well, 6 rounds in. And more aggression. You look at Shazam, he's taking up that post at long A again with the op. It is Glass Cannon one more time. He wasn't able to land the shots here in the first round that he did it, and actually that flashbang is going to give it away. And once again, full control out of the bathroom area from Keatstars. No defense mounted aggressively.
Shazam tried to get up there, but he instantly had to fall off it just because of the smokes and flashes that he couldn't get the angle he wanted.
This early on, you look at the defense on the minimap, it's just a straight line in the bomb sites. They don't even want to play aggressive. It almost seems like Keatstars has just punished them so hard, so early on, that they're just afraid to do it now.
It's just timid. And this is the thing. If Keatstars are aware of the fact that they can smoke off this A site, you don't even need an entry frag. You don't. All you have to do is smoke off the bank stairs, cover off the smoke that between the front of the truck and the boxes, and then potentially one more if you want to take the fight against Optimus Prime or not, the gap on the backside, but it's all it requires. Flashes, Molotovs, they'll force Shazam all the way back. Man, oh man, talk about fire. 4 Molotovs used, they don't even need smoke. Bolts takes the fight, Rix pops back out, and it's a deep smoke that still exposes Shazam, but they'll push forward and take this directly to him as Steel wants that fight, but Shazam's on 19 HP, manages to get away from that SMG, but bombs down.
This is a save. They have nothing they can do. They have no kits. They have no nades for the retake. They're even smoked off in bank. There's really only one choke point they can come out of. They're going to get massacred. A nice crossfire set up by Fur. Rix does answer with one, but, I mean, here it is. No kits. They're in the bomb site. Lawrence is going to take one down, but still so much time left.
They've actually pulled this back a little bit closer than potentially it should have been, as Shazam's going to try and get on this, but instantly taken down. Fallen, holding from the long angle. See, that's the thing. That was a decent take. Yes, they got the site, but they gave up a lot of guns. You can be a lot more efficient, in my opinion, if you just smoke it off and fall into bathrooms, because look what Fallen can do from that angle. He has full vision of the bomb. They have to chase so far away just to get him to come out of hiding.
Well, to be fair, I think they played that fine just because what they didn't play fine was the post plant. You know, they got in, they had a man advantage, they had everything smoked off, everything was in their favor. They just lost the battles when Tempo Storm tried to retake that. I'm not even sure if Shazam was able to stick that if he would have gotten it without a kit. They played that very, very well, and it all comes down to that timid, scared, passive player at the moment from Tempo Storm, because there are only 2 players at that A bomb site when the hit came in. They're not getting any information that's allowing them to adjust to what's happening.
Still scouting Monster. Hades can't do anything right now inside bathrooms. That nade does go too deep, so he won't take damage from that. And already they're shifting up this defense. They're slowly rotating back over to A, just based on the fact I assume it from Hades' call. And oh, he's got out. He snuck out. He's actually going to get it behind. He's behind ZQK. This is sneaky, because he was on the right, he was on the left. Oh, he almost whiffs on it. He gets the AK, but that could have been done so much more cleanly if he picked up that AK a little bit sooner. Had the call not come around and Fur not been able to rotate that quickly, he might have been able to take in the second fight as well. But Shazam's in this corner. We've seen them use this, but Fallen's already looking at it. Yeah, Fallen's not going to allow that to happen. He's already checking it. Easy kill.
Yeah, not to be fooled whatsoever. I mean, that's an angle for a pop flash. You need to do it. Rix does pick up one. But they are going to enter the bomb site with the rifles, with the heavier AK-47s. They're just going to clean things up. It's just Rix stuck behind this smoke and bank. They're just going to get the bomb planted, force him out of position if that's what he wants to do. And now they're going to, oh my lord, mollies galore just come out everywhere.
Yeah, they're definitely using the fire to their advantage as Fallen just waits for Rix to make his move. And actually, Bolts is not even going to allow him to make his move. He's going to take the fight directly to him. They drop him down, and Keatstars are dominating right now on this T side of Overpass.
Looking very, very efficient. And not too many of these rounds. I mean, really, that round a couple ago came down to a 1-on-2 post-plant, but even that didn't even seem like it was that close. They're just being so dominant in how they take map control. And Tempo Storm's, it might not even be them being dominant. It's just Tempo Storm's giving them so much respect at the moment. They're giving them so much space to work with. Now they're getting aggressive over towards mid, but Keatstars has called a completely different play. They're going over towards B one more time very quickly. It's just Stanislaw. A great change of pace here out of the Brazilians.
And their fast rush does catch Stanislaw. This is brilliant. This is good play. They'll smoke off Catwalk.
So deflating for Tempo Storm.
And I have to say, this is not surprising. Keatstars are so good at working as a team. This is why that Thorn had them in their top 10 for at least a brief moment in time. Obviously, they haven't been able to play that many tournaments since, so it would be hard to keep that ranking. But they're definitely worthy of it. now they just play these positionings. That one smoke did go a little bit deep, so they won't be able to cover off on the window. That got bounced off and fell back into pit. But look at this. TS is already running away to save these guns.
Yeah, I mean, they switch up their play. It was a brilliant, brilliant call. Catches Tempo Storm completely off guard. Take that B bomb site for free, and then they just, it's basically just a default win after that, and there's nothing really Tempo Storm can do. By the time they were aggressive on A, and by the time they can get over to that B bomb site, it's already been like 15 seconds off the bomb timer, so well done by Keydstars here. K-Stars, if you will.
Former Kaboom.
Kaboom Stars?
From Brazil. Everybody knows it.
Oh, even a nice op battle won by ZQ. And look at these entries coming in now. They're just piling it on. Down to a 3-on-2. The two Tempo Storm players are so split. It's Stanislaw at B. Hades is back down the stairs. Is he going to get caught out? ZQK doesn't check it.
This is big, though, because now he actually can manage to get some information and funnel them a little bit. So even though they're spread out, by having him in that connector and getting that one kill, it allows Stan to get at least a bit more comfortable, because that's one less he has to deal with. He can get a little bit more aggressive. In fact, he does to sandbags, but Hades falls off this. Interesting that he fell off it that quickly. I would have thought they would have stuck together and then gone for a retake into A, just gambled on the fact that they'd stick to B.
One saving grace is they knew Hades was pushed up, so Fallen's got to be very careful on coming back. He's taking it very slow, not giving anything up. It does look like they're going to come. Steel's made his way out the door over to B to short, so it does look like that's where they're going to meet up. They're going to go for a late B hit. Stan's going to have a lot of work to do. He's got to find a good angle.
And this is where Fallen, he's almost expecting that Hades would have stuck around, because if he did, again, it's process of elimination. They basically go B or they don't. It's simple as that. And if they don't, then you're at least together for the retake rather than splitting up and forcing 2 one-on-ones. So this puts a lot of pressure on Stanislaw. And he manages to spot them up on the way through. Jumping, gets more information. Hades does at least rotate quickly into heaven, and he actually catches Fallen off, who doesn't expect him to be there, goes for that peek, and gets taken down. And this may still work out for TS, but Stanislaw's so low, this nade's going to go over. He has to be careful not to hit his teammate if that deflects off anything. And as a result, yeah, exactly. Time's up. And away Steel goes to try and save his skins. That was an interesting sentence for me to say. I have to be careful with that one.
Don't lie, that went exactly as you planned it.
I'm not that clever. Or am I? No one knows.
So a nice 2 versus 2 win by Tempo Storm, and it was Stanislaw grabbed a great angle where he didn't get a kill, but he stayed alive. He gave time for Hades to rotate over, provide him with some support, and they just win it by time. So nicely done by them. They're able to full buy here. So is Keydstars. Keydstars has a pretty decent bank behind him.
I love when X-Ray's on like that. He stares him down but doesn't know it because there's a wall in the way.
Oh, Fur jumps over, grabs the intel with a quick peek on Hades, drops him with a headshot. Shazam still being aggressive. He could get caught out here. He's in a very, very tough spot. He's going to start getting swarmed on behind, but he does just take the opportunity to fall back. Safe from bathrooms. Three players coming up long for Keydstars. They have great map control. This entire map, they've had control of the bathrooms area, and that's huge.
Steel was completely blinded by that, but where he's playing close enough to the smoke, he just pushed directly into it, used it to his own advantage, and then popped out. So the kill does still go his way despite the early aggression. Shazam, though, does bring it back, gets dropped. Glorens is the man under pressure, though. He's alone at B now. As Rix and Shazam have to try and hold, and good boost up from ZQK. He's going to take down Shazam. Good hold on the crossfire from Rix. This does drop your bomb on the way through, but he has to be careful because he's already smoked off, and he's got an entry from either spot. And I'm not sure he realizes they cross because he's still trying to use that gap in the smoke to his advantage. He will hear Fur planning. Does he spam for it? He does, and Fur actually backs off it to take the shot on Glorens and actually dodges those shots with a little bit of luck. The timing was there, and Rix gets caught out in the end by ZQK. And this is getting out of hand, 9-2 for Keydstars.
Yeah. Such smart play from Keydstars in every situation so far in this half. Just looking like they're a class above. And that's kind of what we expected. You said it earlier. It's not that surprising. We knew they were going to be a very dominant, very difficult team for North Americans to handle. This is a team that was recently moved up. They have a lot of potential, but Keydstars gave them a little bit of a lesson here. And now we're going to see that pistol push like we saw in the last map. Keydstars playing far back, ready for it. Fur gets blind after getting one. He's going to circle behind him and spray down two. just completely annihilated by Keydstars.
That was like the perfect thing to do from Fur. Like, all right, you're going to flash me and rush me? I'll just rush behind you.
Joke's on you.
Man, that's just too clever.
Nicely done. And it's Bolts at 14-5 right now. Furs at 12-7. Steel at 10-4. Looking very, very good. Kills on Tempo Storm. Everyone has 5 or 6 kills. And that's a big thing too. Keatstars is able to build up so much money. There's just not really a whole lot of kills even coming out for Tempo Storm.
So Stan changes things up this time. Mag 7 close. Backside of Monster. Steel. He's just going to hold from the barrel in case anyone wants to push up. That'll allow them time to work over on A a little bit more freely and not have to worry about a flank or at least giving up too much information. But Shazam's holding from Flower. Oh, that Molotov actually is going to force CQK to take the peek, but Shazam's already on the run. And again, it's going to be a passive A hold, quick rotation. No, not even. I thought Glorns was going to fade up toward Catwalk. He doesn't, so it's still a little bit front side hold because Shazam is out forward of the bomb site, at least forward of the stairs. But Rix and Hades are just waiting for the call from him.
Yeah, this is fantastic play from Keatstars. And look at what this map controls allowed them to do this whole half. Basically every site they've hit, they've outnumbered it so heavily. Tempo Storm playing this far back hasn't really been able to even put a third player at a site. They have no intel on where the attack's coming. Finally, they hear the noises, they see the smokes. Rix is going to rotate, but it's still a 5-on-2 here.
Stan's going to find Bolts. ZQK goes right back, but Glorns is holding the angle, manages to take down 2 as ZQK drops. And Hades has to come join quickly because Glorns is now down, and it's all on him to get the shot. He does exactly over the top. Steel gets dropped, and Tempo Storm, better late than never, pick up the third.
Yeah, Glorns and Stanislaw there had a nice crossfire setup. Playing right in front of the pillar with that shotgun, able to get the first one, and the Fama spray takes out 2. So they do grab their third. But if we go by this entire half so far, every time Tempo Storm has won a round, Keatstars has responded right back, broken the economy, and I'm going to go for it again here. And I mean, it's so tactical right now out of them. The four Molotovs every round, basically, so they definitely have a plan of how they want to use these, choosing not to get a 5th Molotov whatsoever.
So Glorns this time's a little bit more aggressive, not playing it back from Catwalk. Fur's already made his way in behind those sandbags, but with the smoke out, neither of them have the awareness that the other is there. They go for the boost. That's an interesting boost, actually, because it allows them to spot into heaven. I haven't seen anyone use that yet, but Rick spots it and gets the better of it.
Yeah, I thought big things were going to come from that. It was actually a great-looking boost. He looked away just at the wrong time when Rix came out, so able to grab that kill, put him at an advantage. This is, Spam also dinks Bolts right through the wall when he tries to open the door. This round's looking very good for Tempo Storm. This is one of the few rounds where they've really established early dominance, and they're going to take this lead in the later stages.
Look at the amount of smokes out right now. There's 4 smokes covering 2 spots. Like, it's almost like overusage, but it was 1 from CT, 1 from T. So they're both, one's to smoke to make sure they can't get any more spam, the other to smoke to delay them. This puts 30 seconds left on the clock, and again, Keatstar's going to go for a boost on the railing this time, try and spot up into heaven, or at least down toward Toxic, where Shazam was already finding Steel, and ZQK does at least get an entrance onto Glorin. Now Stanislaw, though, he lines them up, drops them down. It's 2 for him, and does he go for the knife? He gets it! At least there's that to go for them. A little bit of style points, an extra $1,500, but we're already going to go on to round 15, so that won't make that much of a difference.
Yeah, and it's going to be pretty much a full buy here at Keatstars. I think it might be the first round in a long time we've seen ZQK without an AWP. He's just got a Tech 9, it looks like. So a little bit beat up on money. He was using that expensive weapon. Oh, nope, he does have the up. Someone dropped it for him, so I am incorrect. Oh, and a full, just a fast B play. They've changed the tempo a couple times, and it's always worked out for them. They do get that first entry frag. They're going to peek over towards short. They heard one there. Not taking care of him quite yet. That's Glorin stuck behind the sandbags. Gives up his position, is able to recover and spray down 1, but he's got to fall back to reload.
This is actually the right play. This is actually the right play from Gorns. If they're going to overwhelm the site, you're best not to stay and allow them to come around behind you. Instead, he forces out. This gets them to play for the retake. But we saw them play that fast B take I think it was round 6 that they did it last time. Again, they try it here. They do get the bomb plant down, but they're low on men right now, and Shazam's going to make them even lower as he gets Fur. He's going to go back to the op and try and get a shot towards Steel, who's on the back, and he does get Bolts, actually, who's over the top. So Steel's the only one left, and oh, this is problematic. That fire's going to go too far, so they have to pick the fight. There's still lots of time, and they'll get it. This will bring them back to 5 rounds, but it's 5 rounds CT side. And Keatstars, I mean, that's pretty awesome half. 4 saves, by the way, for the CT team.
Yeah,
the fact that you can break a CT economy 4 times is pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, they never really allowed him to get going. You know, I mean, it was just one round and then they broke it immediately. So not even really able to string rounds together until the end there. But it did seem towards the end they kind of started getting the hang of it. They weren't nearly as punished early on as Keatstars had been doing throughout the half, so they kind of got a little bit of an idea of what to do at the end, and they stayed alive, and they had some nice crossfires, some nice early battles in the last 3 rounds or so. Allows them to get to that 5, but yeah, just a dominant half from Keatstars, looking very, very good. And what are they going to have for us on the CT side now? They do have a pretty decent amount of utility. 2 kits, flashbangs, smoke, and nades.
Fur's getting aggressive. What a one-tap. Takes down Hades. Now he can fall, but he's still really in the open. Stanislaw doesn't take the direct angle. He actually goes the long way back toward Party, all due to the fact that the second player inside bathrooms is firing at him. And look at this aggression. Fur's now going to go even further back, but Fallen, they're just playing off each other. This is decent aggression for pistol side.
Yeah, they're just covering each other's off angles so wonderfully, and Fur going to try and go for one more one-tap. Oh. He gets it in response, so he gets punished. Stanislaw takes him out with a Tech 9, but there's still just 2 players at B, and they're just spotting things. And there's that nade comes out, doesn't do too much damage, but now they have the intel. This is where the hit's going to come in, so they're set up for this cross from short. Sam's going to be the first one out. Bolts isn't able to lay anything down, but Seal takes one out for his trouble. And there's Bolts finally landing one. 2-on-4 situation. They're all bundled up inside the bomb site. Fallen from above takes him out. Shazam is very, very lonely, but with some nice shots into heaven, he gets 3! Shazam with a beautiful round. He's got 3 kills so far. Just a Glock. It's going to be a 1-on-1. 30 seconds left.
Picks up the bomb, so at least he has it to work with. Fakes the plant, tries to get Bolts out, and unfortunately, Bolts does come out and gets the better of him, so he might have liked him to stay hidden in the jungle. Interesting play for Shazam to try and fake that. He actually could have held it just from how far away he was.
Yeah, he could have and got him the plant money, but I think, you know, I don't mind that call. When you get those 3 kills like that, you're feeling like your clock's on fire. Yeah, let him go for it, because obviously something's going right on the shots. You think Skadoodle would have won that round?
Let's not make that comparison, but yes, maybe, possibly. Meanwhile, Fallen wants to win this one. Does get 2 already. SMG make it 3. That's $1,800 already on the income. Doesn't even matter that he goes down. Guns paid itself off and made a huge impact on this round. Hades, though, managed just to pick up Fur as well. That gun didn't pay for anything. And this brings it back, and with ZQK as low as he is, if they could pick off him, it would be a little bit closer. ZQK's got support, though, from Steel, so he's actually in a site that's not alone. It's Bolts that'll play jungle. They'll give up B, essentially, and play for the retake. He'll just take damage on the way through if they come that direction and be in a good position for a rotate. And I think the rotate's going to be the name of the game, because it looks like they are leading off toward A right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Thank you. No one tells me I'm right.
I got to hear it once in a while. But they're very spread out for both going this long route, and it's a little bit scary because it's going to be a 1-on-1. They've got to at least find a way to trade to get the bomb down if they want. Hades is going to be the first one to peek this corner, and this crossfire from Steel and ZQK is very well up at the moment.
Yeah, so Bolts again. Now he fades off because the call is going to come in. He'll be the first on the rotation, the only on the rotation. The bomb goes down ultimately for free. No smokes out. They'll use them in the post plant, but there's a massive gap. So ZQK still has a chance. He knows Stanislaw hasn't crossed over, so the only way he could have gotten out was through long or by sticking up close, and that's what he's done. As we see him in this smoke, he's going to push through it. He actually gets behind them, but he can't get the kill. He only gets the 1, actually. As Steel turns his attentions back, and now it goes to a 1-on-1 between Hades with the FAMAS that he picks up, and ZQK with the SMG, who pushes far too aggressively forward. And that's a great round from TS. They took their time once they got those 2 kills in response, and they basically got the patience away from Keatstars.
Yeah, you said it. You thought that the only way he could have got out was hiding in the smoke. Apparently, he didn't realize that, but a great play by Stanislaw inside that smoke to do so much damage. That's what really allowed Hades to win that. He only gets 1 kill, but the massive amounts of damage makes it easy cleanup for Hades. So a nice eco around there from Tempo Storm. It's going to give him 6. Still a long way to go. And it is a buy round out of Keatstars. They have the scout. They have the pistols behind it with the armor.
This is Fallen's job right now to hit this first shot. Doesn't manage it with the scout, but again, he can jump from this position. So Shazam's not going to repeat. He's actually just huddled in behind the rock. Use it for cover. As Fur again up close at Monster. Waits for Stanislaw, but bombs in the hands of Ricks. They haven't really committed right now on Tempo Storm's side, and because of Fallen's call with that scout, this allows ZQK to push up because he's already discouraged that peak. So this is a good read because he'll actually take the map control that just by having that scout they've gained. But CZ from that range can't close out the shot. Does he actually get it? We're not going to find out because it goes over to Stanislaw. Somehow both of those players are still alive, by the way. Neither of their names show up in the obituary, and the battle rage is on as Lawrence finally takes down ZQK.
I watched the whole thing. I watched it all go down. It was just as exciting as you think it would have been.
Man, shooting blanks.
But Tempo Storm still very spread out. Haven't committed to a bomb site. 20 seconds left. They're going to circle around over towards B. And this is where there's actually 3 members of Keystars here. This is a good read, a good gamble by them. There comes the Deagle shot. Fallon's up above with a scout. This could go very well for him.
Hades does catch Fallen. So that's a good lurk play through A because this will get in behind the remaining defense, but they've already dropped. It was just Bolts that was inside Toxic.
Yeah, it could have gone well, but Hades comes in for the backstab. So nice play from him to lurk that. And now we're going to see a save run out of Keystars, so this is actually going to get to a pretty close scoreline for how dominant the first half was. As long as Tempo Storm doesn't massively script out. We actually do have a pause at the moment. And, you know, despite how good it looked for Keystars in the first half, I mean, Tempo Storms put themselves in a great chance here with that second round eco. And, I mean, this is another one of those move-ups that teams, along with Paradox, now Method, that Team Set had the most potential. And they've made a couple roster changes. They brought in Hades as an in-game leader. They brought in Shazam, and I've said it a couple times, Shazam, I don't think Cloud9 was representative of what he can do. I mean, he was criticized for some bad play on that team, but I think that was a pretty poor situation for him to be able to showcase his real talents, and I think this team might fit him much better.
I mean, let's hope so. That's definitely true. Again, we talked a little bit about with Semphis and Hiko as well. Semphis getting back into his older ways on Nihil, it just seems like he's got more freedom because there was just so much confusion and clutter of, you know, passing responsibility onto others, it seemed, in Cloud9. No one really wanted to step up, but they were quick to, I guess, lay blame on each other. Not necessarily vocally, but it just seemed like they never got it going as a team. They always were hoping someone would be holding the angle so that they could peek one way, and it never was there. And now Semphis doesn't have to rely on that. He's got Automatic and Sanks who are really eager to prove themselves, go for those entry kills. And and he can just, like we talked about, he can be that second man and he can get back to his comfort level. And that could be the same thing with Shazam here, coming off Cloud9, getting back into a team where I guess ultimately he has that freedom to play. We've seen him play it a little bit differently already, even on the CT side that they had, where he was getting aggressive toward long, and then a couple of rounds he suddenly showed up at the window at B very quickly before he even got aggressive to get information at A. Just really quick rotations, and you have to think a lot of that's all on his call. It's not like that's a default. That's him getting a read all for himself and making the movement for himself. And I think that's something that he didn't have the confidence to do in Cloud9.
Yeah, I think we've talked about Cloud9, all the role issues they seem to have there before all these roster changes came in. I think Shazam's one of the ones who really couldn't find his place in that squad. It made him very uncomfortable. Very uncharacteristically ineffective player. He's a huge impact player when he's on. We saw it when he was in Denial. So hopefully he gets back to those ways here in Tempo Storm. And despite a tough first half, they're putting together a good showing so far very early on in this half. They forced a full save out of Keystars on round 4. Good chance for them to get back into it and close up the gap in the scoreline.
And TS looks to head out toward Sandbags actually quite quickly. They're already up using this fire to get through. Shazam comes around the corner. Stanislaw's your first in. Shazam needs to support him. This does force Steel to drop back inside pit, but they haven't spotted up Bolt, so they completely overlook him based on that first smoke that goes out. And as a result, he'll pick up 2 with the pistol, one of which was the bomb carrier. He tries to push forward to get this rifle, and again they start looking at him. Stanislaw's got the blinders on, and all he stares at is catwalk. And Bolts now has the the AK.
4 kill as well.
Yeah, 4 kills, so he can actually go for this ace right now onto Glorens, but it doesn't even matter if he gets it. He will go down. They're all over him. That's just careless. They enter with 1. They force on the guy that goes into pit, and they look over the most obvious spot to hold from Toxic, and Bolts just annihilates them.
Yeah, they only had 1 player come through Monster. That was Rix. He didn't clear it. As well, they threw a Molotov that could have been used to clear out Toxic very easily, but they threw it over towards the ramp by the pit. and no one was there, so Bolts was given free reign to deal damage. He takes full advantage of it. 4 kills for him, 4 fantastic kills on an anti-eco. Not even any armor out of him. And they get an op out of the situation onto Fallen, and Keydstars grabs control right back from Tempo Storm.
And Bolts leads the way, by the way. He's got 21. Of course, he had 4 in that round, so deduct that. And he's only 2 ahead of Steel, but he's on 15. Interesting smoke from Hades. That's out of spawn. That heads out toward the front of bathrooms. A little late getting there, though, so Fur was already pushed up and already got the kill on Shazam.
Look at how far back Tempo Storm is playing in Playground. They're barely just out of T-spawn, waiting for any kind of aggression. And so Shazam got killed there, so they're a little bit fearful, but just so passive in terms of wanting to move forward.
The other interesting thing is just a lack of communication. We saw Hades throw that smoke. It did get there, albeit a little bit late. They actually put a second one in, although it was already there. So someone else popped out based on Shazam getting that kill and said, all right, I'm going to smoke it. Well, it was already done. So they've actually just wasted one of their smokes, and one was dropped unused on the body that was taken down by Shazam's, or pardon me, on Shazam's body, rather. So they need to be more efficient in that regard, as they've already lost the second player. Fur's going to make it the third down. That's Rickson. The flames will be ignited out toward Monster. That won't allow them to go any further. That nade actually doesn't take down Hades. Only puts him on 10 HP, but the shot came into Stanislaw. And now Hades falls all the way back and just in desperation waits with the op for someone to push through. It is Bolts that goes down, but this round's looking all Keydstars.
Yeah, this round's over. Hades might even just have to save this gun if he can. There's still so much time left on the clock, and they're going to hunt him down. He does hear one coming up the ladder. This is the no-scope. Steel's able to take him out. 13-7. That's going to force Tempo Storm onto an eco round here very, very late in the match. And then a double op setup comes out. Another pause as well. Yeah, I think...
Unfortunately, I can't see what these pauses are for, because it'd be interesting at this point. Okay, they're buying up to double up, by the way, on Keydstars. That's pretty cool to see. We haven't seen that yet tonight. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if some of these pauses were tactical at this point, because Tempo had a decent run started out on this half, and now things are slowing down. You're entitled to one tactical pause, that's for sure. And after the last pause, it's actually been all Keydstars. So I wish we knew what these pauses were for, because pings and everything looked fine.
The last pause, Shazam dropped out of the server. I saw.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually see him go back.
He dropped out. He dropped late. It was weird, but yeah. He dropped during the pause, so I don't know if it was like a restart or what was going on, but either way, it's an eco round here for Tempo Storm. No armor whatsoever, and some aggressive bathroom play out of Fallen with that AWP. He's going to spot one out. He's going to come for the peek. He's going to miss his shot, but he's going to molly himself off so he can fall back.
Good play right now from Keydstars too. Super effective. As Fallen takes down Hades. It leaves just Glorens. We can't do anything. Push forward. Grab a gun. Nope, not possible. No one's dead. Wait for exit kills. Nope, sorry, you're on the T side.
Yeah, and the aggression that Keydstars has had in bathroom and long at certain points, I mean, I think that might have actually been the first or second time they've done that. They did it during pistol round, but it's been so effective, and that's something that Tempo Storm, they tried to do it, and Keydstars either always pushed them back or just strategically made the calls and avoided it. You know, they went towards B a lot very quickly on rounds where Tempo Storm was set up in that bathroom. So, you know, the aggressive play outside of A, forward into the bathrooms, into the stairs, and into long, Tempo Storm just really couldn't get anything going for it. And we're seeing how effective it can be from Keydstars on a number of rounds here in the second half.
So now we will see the guns come out finally against this double op. Of course, they used it last round, but we didn't really see what challenge it would face, and already TS has found their way. This is where they were last time. This quick thing. Okay, that time Bolts gets caught. He actually comes out of Toxic. That was the exact same setup we saw Bolts go off. And they shan't make that mistake twice. Bolts gets a little bit too out in the open. So this forces Fur to fall back inside pit. It does bring a rotation from Steel to join him there. And Steel's going wide. He's taking this long angle to cover off Monster. He's actually going to creep his way back toward Toxic. Interesting that they're using that position that aggressively, because again, TSM like to use Zipmix more passively on the ramp. It's easier to go for the peaks as he chooses, but Hades finds EQK. There's your response frags as Fur picks up 2. And he'll fall.
Yeah, nice play from Fur. Even jumping over to grab the intel. He does see one, but he gets spammed out. Lawrence wins it. Fur overstaying his welcome there. But it is a 2-on-3, and Tempo Storm playing this round very, very well, taking that opening pick and then just turning it into a passive play and exploiting the rest of the map when they have the man advantage and finding some kills. Down to a 1-on-3 here, just Fallen remaining with an AWP, and it looks like he wants to at least go and see if he can find anything magical very early on that would, you know, give him a chance at a retake, but I don't think he's going to commit to this too much.
There's tons of money to work with for them. I don't think they'll reinvest into the double up. They won't. Actually, they could. They could if they wanted to, but I don't think they will. It obviously didn't work out against the guns this time because of the quick take from TS. But regardless, all he wants to do right now, very obviously speaking, is just get guns down, and he gets one at least on Rix. Does Stanislaw get far enough away? I think, yeah. Oh, no, he's not. I wasn't sure. I knew in the stairs there was definitely a radius, but I didn't know how strong, and he only had 12 HP, so he was the one that was going back to pick up that op, and they won't get it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So they are going to have to... Yep, but it is going to be another double up setup out of Keatstars here, so Fallen and ZQK picking those up. And a nice round there for Tempo Storm, just finding the early pick and then exploiting it for the rest of the round. Keatstars was used, once that first kill went down, they had to use so much of their utility. They thought it was going to be a very fast play. They used so many mollies, so many smokes to hold it off, and it never actually came in. So Tempo Storm played that one wisely. Nice call by Hades to fall back and play a little bit more passive until later stages of the round. But look at how aggressive Fur is. All the way already under the ladder. He's going to come up at very, very early on, and he's going to flake him out. Here's the footsteps. Rix looks like he's ready for it.
Oh my god.
But Glorens definitely isn't.
Oh man, just painful. Good play.
Fallen chiming in as well, and now this attack is completely destroyed. One player outside B, one player at the fountain, and one player at the stairwell. And they don't really have a plan here. They're going to group up back towards B, but it's a 5-on-3. Keatstars just crushing it.
Yeah, crushing it indeed. 2 to go for them. And 2 to go in the round now as Rix goes down. Bolt still gets information, takes the shot away, and Hades doesn't even spot him up before he's down below half health. Stanislaw man's up, though. That's interesting that he can do that at will. He needs to do a little bit more of that. He'll go back, pick up the bomb at least, but he's still got 4 players doing battle against him, and they've pushed out pretty much everywhere on the map, so there's nowhere he can really go. And there's exactly where he goes, into the barrel of Fallen's op.
Yeah, and you look at the positions that Keatstar took, their players, the fights they took when they were up 5-on-3, they took these very long-range battles, low-risk fights that, you know, even if they don't get the kill, they spot the information and they're able to fall back. One was, you know, long through Monster, very far away, just shooting out ankles. One was in the stairwell down the sewers. So they're putting themselves in positions to take these fights where, you know, they can get away if it starts to go poorly for them, but they have the information and they can call out rotates for their teammates. So very intelligent fight choices out of Keatstars.
Steel going for the jump peak, puts a smoke out on the inside sewage pipe. Now that he knows that information's already gained, he actually uses it. So this is cool because they actually use that smoke. Meanwhile, Fallen's actually taking down Hades. Rix will get back at least one, but this is cool how Steel uses his own smoke to take map control, and as a result, look at him. He's just going to walk up, already spots Stanislaw, and he's in position to easily take him down before the Molotov even gets deployed. So he takes a bit of damage from the fire, but he gets away from it. Now it's down to a 2-on-2.
Yeah, and importantly, with Steel pushed out like that, they know he's there, but the bomb's dropped in party, so they have to go back for it, but they also know Steel was aggressive up those stairs, so they have to take it very, very slowly. That's going to run the clock down a little bit longer. It's going to give Bolts time to get into the bomb site.
But this is also a really good angle to hold from B, because Steel knows they have to basically come either down the stairs or from long at this point to go to B. So by standing in this corner, he's in a much earlier angle. That'll, even though the defense are split up, that'll give Bolts more of a chance to get back over to B, even if he loses the fight. The problem is that Bolts can't over-rotate. And right now he has gone down to window, so they've pretty much anticipated a B take, but it's still looking like it could be, okay, Bolts is going to fall back. This is the right play.
Yeah, split up, and he takes a position where, you know, harder shot to hit here. It's a headshot angle. Shazam does have the AWP, and he's scoped in on it, it looks like. But now he's going to hear the Molotovs. Now he's going to hear the footsteps. He just started to rotate away. Now he's got to come all the way back. Steel is still over at the B bomb site, but it's not there. It's going to be all up to Bolts, and he finds Shazam. Shazam misses one shot, a crucial shot, and Bolts takes them both out because of it.
GG.
Takes the opportunity given, and that's going to be the map. That's going to be the match for Keatstars. A very good showing in their debut here in the ESL ESEA Pro League.